Hi everyone, my name is Katie. Welcome to my page Red's Stitchery, and let's talk about cross stitching. This week, finally, I have some progress to share with you, and we're going to start with Victorian Christmas ornaments. And right away, I want to say a huge thank you again to Sarah. You most likely know her by Lady Lugana YouTube channel. She reached out to me and she said she wants to distash some of her old patterns, and I said, yeah, sure. And there was the biggest surprise ever. Again, Sarah, I texted you. If you're watching, thank you so much. My hands were shaking when I saw what was in that box. Forever grateful and thankful. And one of the patterns that was inside, it was this Victorian Christmas treasures. And if you watch my previous videos, especially my hauls, you know that I am collecting these booklets. This one I didn't have, and this one I wanted so bad, particularly for this beautiful lamp. And then I also really like this element over here, but I mean, all of it, it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. I'm going to stitch all of it, but this lamp, the glove, I mean everything, but this lamp is just everything. So maybe I do need to do like another cross stitch haul video, because I did shop. And Sarah, again, thank you so much. Lots of the things that was in that package was a dream come true, but this is the biggest treasure. And I, again, forever grateful and thankful. I cannot believe it. However, before she sent to me, I already started stitching another booklet, and it would be this one right here. In my previous videos, you've seen me showing it. I also own now this one. I also now own this one. The other ones, the house is not really my thing. But yeah, so I started with this one, and I start stitching it. And I have my first finish. This is beautiful strawberry heart. And on camera, you don't see what I see in real life. It's full of sparkles. This whole top white part, it's all sparkles. It's Kreinik, that 032 pearl. The green backstitch also done with HL Kreinik. The red backstitch is also Kreinik. And as you can see on the background right here, I went to Hobby Lobby and I got myself these big books of fun vintage looking papers. And that's what I use for the background. I found the page, I glued it together, I cut it out, and now I have my first vintage looking Christmas ornament. So it was my first time gluing a paper, I mean, not first time gluing a paper, but first time gluing perforated paper with something stitched on it to something else. And as you can see, it's not quite flat, so I just need to put it on the books to even it out. But even it being curved, I think it's gonna work like on a tree, you know, it's gonna give it more dimension and more sparkle. I really wish you could see all that beautiful sparkle that I see in real life. Like, I mean, it's glowing. As you can see, I didn't do any top, so I've seen people do right before putting them on Christmas tree with that Yuli invisible floss. They just, you know, poke it through because it's a paper, make a hoop, and then just cut it. I don't know if I will do this, or again, I can basically at any time stitch through any floss that I want and make a little hoop to hang it on the tree. I don't know what color I'm gonna do yet. I need to stitch more of these ornaments to see the final decision what I'm going to do. So as for right now, there's nothing in here, but it's easy fix. And stitched almost. The second ornament, it's a bow. I've started the bow itself, it's just 4 colors. It's 500, 501, 2 and 3. And the cranny going to be as a back stitch, which you will not see right now, a little bit right there. I just started it, the cranny done only outline over here, but there's going to be a lot of back stitch, especially inside. Also, when I'm done with the back stitch, I'm going to stitch 3 like little jingle bells right here in the middle, because that's what the pattern tells you to do. I don't know where my booklet is, but I do have it. You barely can see, but there's 3 jingle bells right here, so it's to be attached after the back stitch done. And then I will choose the paper, whatever I feel like gonna go with this bow, and then I'm going to have 2 Christmas toys. Over here, a box full of stuff. The box is just not been done yet, but I already collected. This is a mess because it was one of those starts that I have to start right now. I don't care how much it's organized. I just need it. So I've started it. But I collected all the crank that will be necessary for the whole leaflet. So I have it all. And I am very, very excited to stitch the other ones. I don't know which one I'm going to do next, but I think it's gonna be this birds in a cage, because by the way, I finally downloaded a pattern maker and now I know how to make saga patterns. So I am slowly making myself saga for all of these ornaments. I'm losing voice today. I don't know what's happening. I apologize. But the next one's gonna be probably birds in a cage, because the saga is ready for that one. And I think I made also saga for this fan, which is also gorgeous because there is a lot of cranny too. And this tassel, I'm very excited to make my first tassel ever. And I have this booklet. This is not Christmas at all, but be honest, like, they not really Christmassy. I mean, some of them are obvious Christmas related, but some of them not. So who said I cannot put this ones on a tree too? Anyway, here's my first stitching that I've done for the past couple weeks. If you watch my previous video, I finished my Nora Corbett Ice Dragon, and I've been stitching that one for like 2 weeks non-stop, and I did not stitch anything else besides that one. So I didn't do lots of progress on everything else, but I do have some progress to show you. So here's my first one. I'm participating in SAL by Teresa Wentzler. It's done by Russian YouTuber. I will link her in the description. Yes, the video's in Russian, but I'm telling you, if you watch her videos, I don't know, put the music on the background, and I don't think she has subtitles, but just scroll through them. Her work is so inspiring, and I'm just obsessed with her channel. Anyway, she doing SAL by Teresa Wentzler, and technically it was done in September. So on the first of each month we were supposed to send our progress, the before and after, and September was the last one, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know when I'm gonna now finish this fairy, but I guess when I feel inspired, because the SAL really does help. You know, the rules were not strict. You can stitch just 1 floss and that would be enough for your before and after progress pictures. So the SAL was very motivating me stitching it, and I'm like, well, I don't know when next time I'm going to stitch Teresa Wentzler. So I guess so many of us girls texted her thank you and how inspiring. If it's not for her SAL, we would never stitch it. That she said that SAL is going to be done again, and you can send right now the picture of the project that you're going to participate with, and then each month on the first you have to stitch at least 500 stitches. Send your before and after, and the first On November 1st, it will be the first day of the new SAL. It's basically the same SAL, but it's restarted. The first progress we will need to post on November 1st. I don't know if this makes sense, but I'm like, well, I should now wait and I should do some work on my Lily Maiden. I think the last time I showed it to you, I was somewhere like right here, and I'm slowly filling out all this green part, almost back to her dress, and kind of like finishing it. And I think when I'm going to finish it, I will see if it will fit fully, like, because this is not it. There's a frame around it too. I will see if the big hoops will fit it. If not, I will stretch it over my scroll frame, because the background I want to do in one time. Like, I don't want to keep putting it on a hoop anymore. I want to keep moving my project. I'll show you. So see, there's quite a frame around it, and I don't want to keep moving the hoop, because you just basically take in one color floss when you know, going row by row. So in order for me just to done faster, I think it's a nice idea to either stretch it over the hoop that will fit this whole piece, or stretch it over my scroll frame. By the way, I'm obsessed with my scroll frame. If you did not watch my video about my finish, the dragon, I will tell you now. I'm obsessed with the scroll frame. I want like at least 3 of them, so I can put as many projects as I can on there. But anyway, this is my progress. I think I've talked so many times about this project that I have nothing new to say. Her wings are full of chronic that of course you can barely see in the video. I think I'm gonna definitely do some pictures and close-up video when I finish her, but she's full of sparkles, and Teresa definitely is something different. Like, she stands out. The way she feels the colors and all the blends, I feel like I'm drawing with the needle, not stitching with it. I already have line of projects that I am planning to stitch by her after this Lily Maiden. I did promise myself I'm not gonna stitch more than one project at a time. Like, I'm not gonna do multiple starts on Teresa, because then I will never finish none of them. And by the way, the new SAL is going to run for a whole year, so till next November of next year. And I am hoping I'm going to not only finish this one, but possibly start a new project by Teresa and possibly finish that one too. Very excited, very motivated, and yeah. So here's my project on Teresa Wentzler Lily Maiden. There's about 50% done, and as soon as I finish this area right here, I feel like the frame, it's gonna be a couple of evenings, and I will be done with it. But it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, I love it, and I cannot wait to stitch more by Teresa. Another SAL that I'm participating almost is over also, but this one is going to be done in December. Anyway, that one is particularly for all the projects that have been on your whips for so long. You have no motivation to stitch them, you have no desire to stitch them, but you want to finish them because at the end you will love the results, and for some reasons they're just not moving. So same concept. Each month on the 5th, we need to send the before and after. The rules also are not strict. Basically, even if you've done just one floss, it counts. Me and my friend, we have projects both like 50,000 stitches. I have this one by Riolis. It's the Saint Basil's Cathedral. I try to remember how to say it in English because it is a Russian cathedral that on a red square in Moscow. And of course I know how to say it in Russian, but I keep forgetting how to say it in English. Anyway, she's stitching something completely different, but her project is also 50,000 stitches. And me and her, we are working towards 50% of the project is done by the end of the year. It's realistic, it's motivating, it's something that needs to be done. Next year, our minimum goal is 25% more. Maximum goal, of course, to finish the projects completely, but takes a lot and lots and lots of time. Not much done this month. I did do a huge progress last month, but over this time period, I stitched only this part of the sky, which is great because this right here, it's the second corner of the project, and I am almost finished completely, exactly half of the project and half more to go. Look at this, just dirt. I already washed this project twice. I decided I'm not gonna do it anymore, and I'm just gonna give it a good wash when I'm going to finish with that. I love the results. I don't know why, but the project stitched with acrylic wool, and on camera, in real life I don't see it right like this, but on camera some of this are very sticking out, some of the stitches, but hopefully it's going to be all fixed when I'm going to finish the project. I am right now at 42 something %, so by the end of the year I need to do 8% more, but because this project has 5,000 stitches, 1% is 500 stitches, so it is a lot of work. A lot of stitching still needs to be done, but it's okay. I have plenty of time till the end of the year, and I am confident that I will achieve that 50% goal. I've stitched so much, some of the colors are gone, but this is how Riolis put their floss, gives you the floss in the kits. It's kind of like bobbinated organizer, but with acrylic wool. I like it because, you know, you don't separate this, you just unwrap as much as you need, cut it, stitch it, and you're good. As you can see, the color 22 you use in the sky, and one of these I am completely run out. This one more than half done, and this is how many more I have of color 22. That's how much more sky needs to be stitched, and I think I ran out of some color too. Number 1, the white, also almost 2 are gone, which, and number 15 also uses a lot of in the sky. One is done, almost the second is done, which makes me happy because basically this is almost 50% done, and I ran out only on one of these. So even if the same amount gonna be in the next part, I'm gonna technically have a lot of leftovers. And the most interesting part, the crosses on top of the, I don't know how to say it in English, but on top each of these going to be a cross. I'm going to stitch it with this just a regular gold metallic, but I decided to keep it at the very last after I wash it, dry it very carefully, iron it, and then I will add this final part. I don't know what I'm going to do with this at the end. Like a pillow, but it's gonna be a huge pillow. Maybe I will love it so much at the end I will want to frame it, because I think it is a very interesting piece to decorate the house during like winter time, because it's during the winter, there's snow all over the place. And I mean, I think because it takes me now, what, 2 years, maybe even 3 years I've been stitching it, it's kind of, I lost that passion for this project. So maybe that's why I'm not that inspired and I don't know what to do at the end. But I think I have at least a year, possibly 2 more years of stitching this project, and we'll see how I feel about it when I will be done with it. But as for right now, the farther you look on it, farther you look, the prettier looks, which makes sense. The all little details, the back stitching, which this back stitching needs to be redone. This one, look, when I just started stitching it, look how long this back stitching is, and it's like it's not secure. Where this back stitching I've done with coaching method, and it looks way nicer. So there's another project that I had a little bit of time to work on this past couple weeks, and let's see what else I stitched. Another project, it's this Dreaming of Tuscany by Dimensions. I do stitch it for my mom. She picked it last year, and my friend and I, we decided to stitch something with wine in the month of September, so that was my start from the September. I did show it to you before, but this is how I organize my DMC floss. And for how much I've been stitching it, all my braids are still in a very good condition. So extra flosses you see that not in a braid, that's extras that I have left, and that's how I keep leftovers of the Dimensions floss. I just take my needle, I poke through the spongy thing on the organizer, but the rest, the braids itself, are still in a great condition. All I need to do is just separate the amount that I need, unglue it, and take it out of the braids. This way they don't create a huge mess like I made a mistake with my very first dimension, which I still did not separate that floss. It's still in one big knot, and I don't know if I will be ever have a patient to do that. Anyway, so here is the preview, and here is my current progress. This is one of those projects that you also need to look from far. The farther you look, the better it looks. The closer you look, especially the grape, they kind of look pixelated. But 40% also is done on this project, which just doesn't seem like that. Like, how can it be 40%, right? Like a little bit more will be 50. How much is 50 if I still have so much to stitch? Well, the whole top part, it's all half stitch, so that will be easy. And that's why I start with the bottom, because that's where, you know, we have a little bit confetti stitching. Well, not quite confetti, it's more like little groups of one color, because I mean it's grapes. And then there's one grape right here, the wine, there will be a couple more grapes over here. So it's just a group of same color all over the place. I also started already on back stitch. There's also going to be black back stitch on the grapes, which you barely can see because the grapes are stitched mostly with black also. But the little, what you call them, wines, and the leaves of the grape, the back stitch is also done. This, you will think just gray and simple and boring, but I actually very enjoy stitching it. There is like 3 colors, but one color you have to stitch half stitch with one floss, full stitch, again full stitch, and it gives you that dimension, and that's why it's so convenient. They name their brand Dimensions. It totally makes sense why. If you watch my previous videos, you know that I was not quite nice about my very first dimension project that I stitched. I think it wasn't even a gold collection, but it was the most complicated thing ever, and the pattern itself was printed so small, so tiny. I remember literally crying it, kicking it, didn't want to stitch it. Well, it's finished now only because I have a saga, but the pattern that they put in that one was horrible. However, the pattern in this one is great. I'm just gonna show you probably the most complicated part, which is that grape. Very easy to stitch. The pattern is big. It's very like your eye is fixating on one symbol and it stands out. Like, they did a very good job on this pattern, not only as it looks, but also as it printed. Also, the size of the pattern is huge. Even though it's a petite collection, petite means it's not going to be a big project. As you can see, that's it. That's the fabric length. But the pattern is giant compared to the project I stitched very first by dimension. It was 14th Aida, and it was a very big piece of Aida, but the pattern was literally like half of this one. So if you never stitched dimensions, if you're scared to stitch dimensions, I wouldn't say this should be your first pick. There's other cross stitch kits by dimensions that I think more beginners friendly. However, this one, if you're not a beginner at cross stitching, if you already cross stitch a lot of things and you want to try dimensions, I think this one will work great, because I did found Saga for this one, but it has lots of mistakes. So I basically just copy my progress in there just to see how much percentage I've done. But what I do, I just, for example, right now I'm working on this part right here, and I just, you know, put the pattern in front of me where my hoop's holding, and I just stitch by paper because the Saga has a lot of mistakes and I don't want to make mistakes. So I am basically stitching it by the paper, and I am very happy with it. I'm very happy with my results. I did not show it to my mom yet. I want to stitch it fully and then show it to her, and I hope everything is going to be over soon and I will be able, maybe not go there, but at least send it to her. That would be nice. Anyway, there is another project that I've been working on. And now to the reason why I don't have any, or I should say more progress on different other whips, because I've been obsessed with this Chatelaine, and it's all I've been stitching. So this is Dragonfly mini tile by Chatelain. The project not going to be bigger than the hoops it's holding, perfect size. The last time I showed you, I've done only the middle part, which is this lotus, I think it's lotus, and this, and everything else, like the frame around it, you see, that's all new. The dragonflies and this frame around it, and I am obsessed. It was so hard for me to put it down and stitch something different, but I kind of have a logical stop where the full frame is done, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop, I'm going to stitch something else, I'm gonna show my progress, and then I will come back to it. But it's one of those projects that I do not want to put down. I am so happy when I stitch it. It looks difficult, but it's actually not. It flies. It's I don't know, it's pure joy. I'm already browsing what next Chatelaine should I do, but stopping myself from purchasing anything else, because Chatelaine is not a joke, meaning it will take forever. It is precise work, it is some counting needs to be done, but the results though. First of all, delicate beads. Look, do you see all of that sparkle and shining? I feel like if I could, on every single project in the future where Mill Hill, I should say the beads required, I would definitely choose Delica over Mill Hill. Yes, they are in a weird, unusual, I should say, shape. Meaning that's not a typical bead shape. They're more like cylinder, kind of. They're like long, like square-like. You know? I mean, you can see. Where Mill Hill, they're more round. However, because I think they shape this way. They are all perfectly even, where Mill Hill, I mean, it's a great beads, everybody uses them, but let's be honest, those beads not calibrated. I know they are best probably from, like, if you, I don't know, they're not horrible, but after stitching with Delica, the Mill Hill do seem like they are so uneven. But again, I think Delica beads are so even because of the shape. So what I want to talk about, it's my impressions, thoughts, and as you can see, some of my organizing process. So first of all, beads, fun, love it. I decided to stitch it with full stitch. I know some people, when they stitch Chatelaine, depending on which side they're stitching, they will turn. I didn't turn, I didn't change my direction. My all crosses facing the same way, all my beads are facing the same way. So just because here the frame is turning doesn't mean I'm going to stitch beads now looking up this way. No, if my beads original are looking this way, even if like they keep looking all up, all of my beads looking up, all of my stitching done in the same way. I did not change the direction, I didn't turn, I didn't twist, I just stitch it as it is. I did choose to stitch it with full cross in the beads. I think if I would stitch them diagonal, that way, I don't know, I just like that they flat, they even, the lines are perfect lining. And I enjoy it more, I think, if I would stitch it diagonally, which I usually stitch all the beads diagonally. It was my first time stitching with this floss right here, the Treasure Braids, the rainbow coloring. It's great. I enjoyed it more than Kreinik, however it is thicker than a Kreinik. I would say Kreinik, the braid number 4, equal to this. Easy, nice, simple, zero issues. This floss was used on back stitching for the dragonflies, all that gold sparkle in there. And I also kinda, but not really much, use also this one, the silk lane braids, also by Rainbow Coloring. Also very nice, enjoyable stitch. You can see it has like sparkle in it, and I was, oh, look right here, full of sparkle. At first I thought, oh, it's probably gonna be not enjoyable, it's gonna split, separate. No, smooth, nice, love it, absolutely love it. The concept is the same that DMC Etoile, like you have a floss with a sparkle already in it, but this one is just goes smooth, very enjoyable. It was stitched a little bit right here in the middle, and as you can see, I kind of already started the next part of the frame, and it's this one right here, which you cannot see any sparkle, but it is there, right there. Anyway, and my first time ever stitching with Karen Water Lily Silk, and I am now totally understand why people are obsessed stitching with the silk. It was so smooth, enjoyable, nice. It's literally like a butter. It was so, I mean, silky because it's silk. The part that I stitched with it, it was this one, where you can see it's not a cross stitch, it's the type of, I don't know what you call them, embroidery, needlework. It looks kind of complicated, but it's actually very, very easy and simple. And I love the way how the floss, it's changing. It's interesting, it's smooth, it kind of looks like water. It's just all makes sense, and I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed. Now, How do I stitch the beads? In my previous video with the dragon, if you watched it, I showed you my bead organizer and I was okay with it, but I did told you that would be my number 2 favorite organizer and number 1 favorite bead organizer, in particular for work, not for organizing the beads, for working. It will be this sticky mat. I even ordered the second one just in case. So this is how it looks when it comes to you. It's that tacky mat. This is how it looks like. You can order it from Amazon. I will leave the link in the description. It was like $6. By the way, this one, I'm waiting when I'm gonna run out of most of the beads and I'm going to rewash it because it does have like cat hair and all of that stuff. But what I did, as you can see, so when I started, I didn't think it through and I kind of have to now work with what I have. But in the future, I think what I'm going to do, maybe even with a marker or with a tape, somehow I am going to separate it in equal squares and like even, I don't know how yet, but because this piece of papers I keep flying away. But basically what I did, I copied on a piece of paper the symbol that the bead is on the pattern. So I didn't write down the number of the bead. I wrote down right away a symbol that pattern uses to use this particular bead. And I just put it all here on the mat. And I do work with the hoop pinch holder, like one of those from Amazon. Also gonna leave the link in the bio. The one just holds it right here. So what I do, so that's that crocodile claw that holds it. And what I do, I just pinch it like this. And for example, when I was working on these dragonflies, it was easy for me to grab the bead and keep working. The mat is how much this one used, is holding very, very good. I mean, it's there. Obviously, if I'm gonna go like this, it's gonna fly away, but it's there. It's not like you have to be very, very careful with it. I'm not even putting it back in the bag. I just keep it in my organizer as it is. Obviously, I don't shake it. I don't purposely like make it full, but it works for me. And when I work with the beading that on top of the project, I just roll this paper shorter and I hold it like this. This is from, this is the bag from the fabric, you know, something that I can stick it to because I didn't want to stick it directly to the fabric. And what I like about this one's, when you grab the bead, nothing tacky, any like piece of glue or anything stays in the bead. The bead comes out clean and nice, and this way the work is clean. So basically, that's the second time using it. The first time I used it, I left it, I washed it, and when you wash, it looks brand new. But I got the second one just in case if I will start another bead project, because when I was working on my dragon, I wasn't loving the organizer that I have. It was okay, it was usable, but what I love about this idea is that I can literally put it on top of my project and just grab the bead and keep working. I love it. I enjoyed it. It was awesome. I worked also with Delica bugle beads. I don't know what's happening with my camera today, but it's weirdly focusing on random stuff. Right here on very outside of the frame, you can see them nice and sparkly. This, I did have to turn them because it makes sense, but everything else beads I didn't turn. But it's all so beautiful right now. Look at this. I don't know, for me it's so satisfying how equally and very, very straight the Delica beads look. It's also very fun to touch. Like, I don't know, Delica beads are, I'm kind of stopping myself right now to start my stash collecting Delica beads. I think I will buy them when I need them, but I do have a crazy idea one day on a project that required Milk Hill beads, substitute them to Delica and see if it's gonna look better, worse. Is the Delica just good only for Chatelaine? I don't know. We'll see. Another thing right here you might see, it's this new organizer that I purchased. I don't stitch from the floss drops. I am a kind of messy person and I just being realistic. I know that if I keep my floss on the floss drops, they will tangle, there will be a mess. I don't want to do it. I stitch from the bobbins. I wasn't able to use it yet because everything else that you see, it was mostly beads work and then the fancy kind of floss. But I purchased this one and I love it. First of all, it has a pocket over here that comes with the bobbins, and I think I'm gonna keep this bobbins for some kind of fancy floss. For example, maybe my future Karen what it is, I will bobbinate on this ones because it's not enough for DMC. I don't want to keep buying this because I like this side of the bobbin, like the regular. But I think for the fancy floss it will be great, so I just keep it here. But the top, it has the cuts where the bobbin can easily fit, and when I stitch with bobbin, what I do, I will show you in a second. This, as you can see, they're not all the same. The ones that you see on paper bobbins, this is originally not mine. I bought it from the lady almost 2 years ago now. From the town, she couldn't stitch anymore, so I bought from her whatever she had in stash, cross stitch related, which she did had a huge collection of the DMC floss. So those, I don't see a point of take them off this bobbin, rebobinate them. I don't understand why I need to do it. But the other bobbins that you see, they're gonna look like this. And that's the one that bobbinated by me. So when I use the bobbin, I unwrap the floss, I put it through the hoop over here with the regular, hoop method. I mean, it's right there. And when this color gonna be in work, it's going to stay like this. And for example, if I finish and I still have some floss on my needle, instead of taking off the needle, bobbinate it and all of that stuff, I'm gonna just put the needle in here and for this color to wait when I need it again. At the end of the day, I just take them off, I bobbin that tail that's sticking out, and I put them back. This works great for me. However, I do need to purchase second of this because, as you can see, not all bobbins can fit in here. Yeah, so I think I kind of put them right now just to show you when I'm going to stitch it. The next layer of the frame that goes around, it's going to be lots of DMC work, and I'm going to really test my theory of how comfortable it should be, and I am definitely going to give you an update when this test will be done. So I think I sent a video and a picture to all my friends, to all my relatives, because I am so impressed how it looks. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I do stitch it with this floss, which in my dragon video I kind of explained to you the difference between this one and Yuli, the invisible floss. I started with this one and that's why I'm continuing with this one, and honestly I would prefer to stitch with this one. You cannot see it anyway, but I did buy the Yuli because the middle piece right here, I will have to kind of stitch it like this, the floss coming out of the middle of the gem, they're gonna go in the middle. So that part I will stitch with Yuli, but the rest I work with this one and I absolutely love it. It's very, very comfortable. So, not much to share, but that was my progress as much as I could so far. I think in the future you're gonna see more flip through videos, only because I will not show that much progress, because I cannot put this one down, and I don't want to, because I cannot wash this one. Whatever I stitch right now, I will have to somehow clean it by dry cleaning, iron it very carefully and frame it right away. So that's why I'm very concentrated on stitching this one right now. I want to finish it as fast as possible. I do keep it in the bag, even if, you know, I live for like 15 minutes to do some work stuff, home stuff. I put it in a bag to protect it from the cat hair, from dust and all of that, but it's, let's be honest, impossible in a house with 5 cats. So I do want to finish it as soon as possible so the fabric doesn't get dirty, and I'm definitely going to frame it also as soon as possible. Yeah, I don't know what next week brings us. Possibly I will stitch something, film something else, possibly another whole video, because I did purchase a lot, even though I said I will not. The Stitchy Kindness, Sarah, again, thank you so much. I still cannot believe your kindness. I'm so happy, beyond happy with everything. And yeah, I think it's been so long since I filmed the progress that I kind of forgot how to do it. But anyway, that was it. I will see you next week for something interesting. Happy stitching. Have a great week. Bye.